Um, I don't know if I ever actually told you this, Jim, because I know you've already started on your stuff. But like once I got my stream deck right, our thing that I have for our scene is just two light bulbs. That's all it is. I was I was like, I think this fits. Let's do this. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes. You know what? I'm debating on let's just start with Tasha and get Tasha out of the way because that's going to be a 40-minute conversation by itself. Um, yeah, but like because Sam doesn't really know about Tasha, and we're kind of dealing with Tasha right now, and I don't know. She just doesn't really know. Like I've told her about some of the stuff that she's done, but like I don't think that like I don't have the kind of knowledge base about it that you do. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, God traps, and you know, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it could be honestly. That might even be what Tasha is. Like Tasha might just be an aspect of Igwilf. You know? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Do we do we actually know who her biological parents are, or no? No. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. 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 No, yeah, yeah. That was so far. My only question has been the biological thing because yeah, I've heard this all of this stuff before. You know, oh, it's. I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, why does that sound familiar to me? Okay, that's why. Yes. Talos. um, on the name thing, this is just one of those things about Tharizdun that I think I love is that like man was such a threat to all of the gods that they removed his name. Like yeah, that's why he's the nameless one now. Like because he they yeah, that shit's wild though. Yeah. What's up? Oh shit! What the hell? Sam saying she can't hear you for some reason. What the fuck? No, that's weird. Oh, that sucks. Hold on.
Oh
I don't know
shit.
what the fuck happened there, but yeah, like that doesn't make any sense because like my audio capture is on for you. I'm glad Sam said
Well,
something.
my viewers here, that's okay. So
Uh, uh,
they're hearing me.
damn, that sucks. I apologize, everybody. Well, Jim did a big
Wow.
explanation about fucking some shit that made no sense. So I've just been sitting here quiet most of the time, just staring at you.
That's funny. That's
Just
funny.
you're talking. I'm just yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, uh-huh. And then I
Okay.
ask a question and
All right.
nobody can hear the answer to it.
Okay. Well,
Wow.
we'll continue. I don't want to start over from the
Yeah, we're not
beginning.
starting over. Sorry, everybody. I'm sorry you didn't hear about that stuff.
Okay. So, where were we? She takes over the Lost Caverns of Sothcanth, access all the secrets of Fraser Blue on the material realm, finds out about the Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun to the north, and decides to start tapping into some of that power. Now, in the context of this, she's using Grazit. She's friends with Loth. She's starting to become as friendly as a demon and a mortal can be, but it's a good alliance. This is where she learns about Zugtamoy. This is where she learns about Blix. If you read into her lore, I want to say what she actually has a fragment of Demogorgon's essence in her possession. So this is basically where she's ascended to the power that she is now. Okay, so we'll just focus on that, or the power she was before they turned her into an archfey.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing now.
Right. So, over the course of her ramblings, her taking over of power, her plundering of everything that's within in the world, um, honestly, she didn't really care about. Once she started getting into that shit, the outer plane stuff, that was the main reason her offense on Oerth floundered. She's why settle for a world.
I mean, yeah.
So during this time, prior to this, she gave birth to her daughter Drelsna. And at the end of this cycle, she gives birth to Ayaz. Ayaz is the current ruler of the northern realms of the Forgotten Realms, son of Grazit and Igwilf, considered a Cambion, but also a demigod. Statistically, he's a demigod, so you can figure that way. Well, Grazit is considered an immortal, so I guess that's how it comes down, right?
I mean, yeah.
But anyway, so she loses a fight with Grazit at this point. Grazit tries to break his bindings. Mathematically, she beats him. She's like, "Boom, you're banished. You can't touch the material planes for 99 years." But she got fucked up in it. She lost a lot of her resources. She used all of her stuff. So her army starts dispersing at this point, seeing the weakness that's going on. About a year later, she tries to resummon Grazit. Grazit gets her this time, takes her ass to the abyss, and everyone's like, "Bye, Witch Queen." So there's all kinds of drama that goes on there, but long story short, she's got a wing of the Argent Palace that is now hers that Grazit doesn't have a key to. She can come and go from the Argent Palace to Loth's lair. So she parlays a loss into an even more gain of power. So when she comes back on the scene from a gameplay mechanical standpoint, she's not even dealing with Oerth. There's one point where she sends some of her troops to stop level 12 to 20 heroes. This is the module Isle of the Ape. The party has to go fetch the Crook of Rao so they can destroy the Crook of Rao and disperse all the demons throughout the universe. Okay, or excuse me, not the universe. Remove all of the fiends from the material plane and sending them back to where they are. At this point, Ayaz is kicking his ass during the Greyhawk Wars. He's got goblins, hobgoblins, orcs, tribes of men backed up with Frox and Glabrizus and Nalfashi and yeah. So demons are walking in the rank with his troops. So they're losing. They're like, let's snap the Crook, and all of this shit go away. The Crook's over here on this island. So Tasha's like, cool. Now that they show me where it's at, it's mine. It's totally my Crook now, right?
Yeah.
So this is where you learn about her ties to the Yugoloths. Now, remember, there's 3 fiend types in D&D 5e. You have the demons, you have the devils, and you have the Yugoloths. Okay, lawful evil, neutral evil, chaotic evil. She has never dealt with lawful evil. She can't be bothered with their contracts, can't be bothered with their rules, can't be bothered with climbing a power structure. That's why she prefers chaotic evil, because it's really easy to whisper what a hyper selfish evil being wants to hear into its ears and get it on your side. She pars up with the Yugoloths at this point because they have access to the ultimate level of knowledge. At this point, this is when she gets to build a palace out on Hades, the third gloom of Hades, the Grey Waste, I guess it'll be called in Planescape. So she's become fully extraplanar at this point. The people try to get the Crook of Rao. Depending on how the adventure goes, they may lose and the world ends. But the assumption is they win and the world is saved. But she gets close enough to it to where if you look at the 5th edition stat block for the Crook of Rao, it is an artifact level weapon. You'll see that it has the Curse of Igwilv on it. And there's a 5% chance that if you use the Crook of Rao in the way that it's designed, it will release every major demon that has ever been imprisoned by it and open a permanent portal to the first layer of the abyss. You think I'm full of shit? Go look at the 5e stat block.
Man,
I'm not making stuff up, man. So the level of her power is defined in 5th edition by her simple curse on an ultra powerful magic item. How powerful do you got to be to curse something that can dispel every demon on a plane?
I have to look at this item description now.
Yeah, so at this point, though, she does decide, shit, I'm going to get those meddling Mordenkainen and Circle of 8, you meddling fuckers, fine. You hurt my son, you've hurt my daughter, you've hurt everything that I want. Now it's personal. So this is where you find out that Igwilv has a moon base. The Moon of Luna, that, not a very original name for Greyhawk, I'll admit that. But she actually has a base up there that she's got other portals opening. She's getting an undead and a fiendish army that once she gets access to Tensor's castle, she'll be able to use that magically connected fortress that can't be destroyed and basically dump her entire army out 120 miles to the northeast of the city of Greyhawk. And there is a module, the Returner Circle of 8, that kind of deals with that. And again, the assumption is she wins. So at that point, she's out of lore for the most part. She's never been removed from games. She's never been disempowered until while Beyond the Witchlight. She's always remained up above and beyond, outside of the pantheon of stuff. She is a human. She is immortal. She is mortal. She will die under normal circumstances if you could take the shot at her, but good luck.
Oh,
so that's why I think she's on paper probably the most potent and powerful non-player character villain in the game.
First layer of Abyss, not even the first layer of Avernus, like that.
And do you know what the first layer of the Abyss is called?
Pazunia,
which is also the layer of 10,000 portals.
That's fucked. It says that because I've never even heard of this before, but it says that it's a 50-foot diameter portal, which is crazy. That's huge. And on initiative count 20, it audibly speaks a fiend's name in Igwil's voice, doing so until the gate calls on every fiend ever banished by the Crook of Rao. It says It says this process takes 18 years to complete.
That's a lot
That's a
of.
fucking lot of. That's messed up.
So I guess I could rest my case as far as Igwil being the most dangerous and powerful mortal non-player character in D&D.
How do?
I,
Why do
I
they?
rest my case.
Why do they have? Okay, I don't understand how they can have they can have both mention of Igwilv and of Tasha and not say that they're the same person. I don't understand this.
They did say that in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. There are a couple. If you read some of the sidebar text, it talks about most of these writings were prior to her ascension to becoming the Witch Queen. And if you look at Wild Beyond the Witchlight and you read and you look at the Zablina stat block, but you read the about the monster, it talks about how this is Igwilv under the control of some hags. And that's why I like if I had the physical book and not the digital book, I'd have thrown it out a window. Okay.
Wait.
Yeah, you're
Wait. Hold
spoiler
on.
warning. Spoiler warning.
Wait, hold on. How?
Go read Wild
Three
Beyond
hags?
the Witchlight. Throw your hands in the air and say, I don't care. Fuck wizards.
I am the Witch Queen, daughter of the mother of all hags. 3 hags overpowered me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, we're also looking at Mordenkainen, who can't beat a level 10 vampire, and he's down at the bottom of a waterfall going, "Oh, it's me." That's a wizard's thing, dude. That's not that's
weird.
You know, hopefully if you're listening into us, enjoying this chat, understand that I understand. Well, let me rephrase that. I understand the desire, the marketing aspect. You know, players want to interact with everything. Shit, I was grinning like a little kid every time a named person popped up in Baldur's Gate 3. I'm not going to lie. You know, so that's kind of part of the expectation with the gaming and the gaming community. I'm a hero. I should be walking amongst these heroes. No, mechanically speaking, you're at level 20. You're still not on Mordenkainen, much less Tasha's level. There's really no way to incorporate them into interaction with players at their levels. So Wizards disempowers them, Ray of enfeebles them, covers them in Nerf and Bubble Wrap, and sets them there so you can meet them and play with them and make your characters feel way more important than they truly are. There, I said it. Hot take. I'm sorry.
See, okay, cool. Let players play around with them, meet them, interact with them. But like at all points in time, you should be terrified that at any moment you could just be destroyed, removed from existence, banished to another plane. Like you should know that these people have that ability, and your saves aren't going to help you because they've banished way more powerful things than you.
You know, and that becomes us. That's our job as the community. Wizards does a bad job. I understand where they're coming from a marketing standpoint, but us as players, us as DMs, that's in our hands. You know, I'm gonna use Greyhawk. You guys ran into Big B 2 weeks before the Big B Book of Giants book dropped.
Yeah. I
was so pissed when they announced it because I was like, motherfucker, that takes all the wind out of my sails because I was going to introduce him to Circle of 8 with Big B. You know, canonically, he's in town because his brother Rigby's not doing well. So it was a simple, honest, perfect thing for timeline. But you guys did not even. It was crossing T's, dotting I's. Sir, yes, please, thank you. Here, let me spread the butter on your toast and not break any crumbs off. Y'all kissed his ass. Because you know I would have turned every fucking one of you into mice, thrown you in the air, and disintegrated you. I don't care about your saves because that's Bigby.
Yeah.
But that was because I put that expectation, that knowledge into the campaign. You know, if a brother's got a spell named after him, your level 8 ass ain't got shit to do.
Yeah.
Maybe ask for his autograph. That might be about the extent.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that shit's wild, yeah. Like Tasha has more than one, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got 24 if you look through first to second and third.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I only think 3 or 4 made it. 2 or 3 made it over here.
Because I can only think of
Caustic Brew, Hideous
Laughter off the top of my head, but I know there's another one at least. You could argue Witch Bolt. But...
There was an old one that was Tasha's Caressing Whisper.
Oh, I don't like that.
Which was a level 6 fail-save permanent charm.
Oh, man. That's wild.
You can only have one creature charmed under it per time, but yeah, you fail your save, you are You've been caressed by Tasha's whispers and will endeavor to serve her will forevermore. Give me your player
That's
character sheet. Thank you.
that's a
Next up.
capstone ability for a warlock. You know,
Huh?
it's a capstone
Yeah.
ability for a warlock right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
And
great old ones.
that was one of her
One.
written spells in 2E. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's wild.
So who else?
We were going to talk about Tharizdun next.
Tharizdun,
who's
the forgotten
horrifying.
god, the god of you can't even say death. They don't really give him a name,
He's not
domain.
really over anything.
I think he's entropy.
That would be probably good. That'd be a good one. Yeah.
The end of all, annihilation, the god of the
Actually,
you could
let's
say
see. They might have him listed.
maybe he's the patron of the negative material plane, the absence of existence entirely. He's been around since first edition, WGR1, Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun, or was it 3? One of those two modules included him. There was mentions of him back in the Greyhawk lore books.
They have him over the domain of trickery.
Whatever.
I don't agree with that, Kurt. Okay. Yeah, I don't agree with that.
He's the chained god.
Yeah.
But I think here's the issue with Tharizdun.
Tui, he is god of dark decay and insanity.
Entropy.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with Tharizdun. There's no way to physically manifest him as anything a player can interact with or experience, so he doesn't really show up on the radar gameplay wise very much.
I think I see.
That's just so much of an absent the being within his presence is just the removal of life. Yeah. So how do you play that? You can't play that out. There's no accessible way for players to interact with Tharizdun. The cult in itself is so self-destructive that none of his cults ever last.
Yeah, they're just pure.
So he doesn't really have a presence.
Yeah,
because of
yeah, that's 100%. Yeah, they are just pure nihilists. Like, I was reading a thing that said basically if they find one of his temples, like if one of them springs up, that they will send an army of 100 paladins against it. Like if anybody ever finds out about it, immediately 100 paladins will march towards it because they're like, no, fuck this dude. Like,
well, I mean, and Tharizdun is kind of the basis for the if you when 12 days, 3 weeks, we'll have Planescape out. You guys will, like it or not, have to either ignore that setting or learn a lot more about powers, alignments, and factions than you've had to deal with so far. I promise you, it sounds tedious, but it's going to add a lot more to your campaigns. Sometimes more structure is not a bad thing to have. But anyway,
some of these people are really cool too. Like they really are.
I'm sorry.
I did. A lot of these people are really cool too. Like they really are. Like just reading about their lore, it's like, man, that's a badass.
Yeah, but so Planescape, the big premise there is that there are only a handful of deities, gods, powers, as they're going to be called, unless we're going to call them deities, we'll see, that have the power to kill another deity single-handedly. Typically, one has to use 2 or 3 others to do that, which ends up causing this big old trans-dimensional. If you're an immortal, last thing you want to do is lose your immortality. So you're very hesitant to. I'll send every follower I have after him, but no, I could kill him, but I don't want to because then all his people will kill me. People being powers and gods. Tharizdun was of enough of a power to where, according to certain lore sources, every power had to band together to restrain his decay and destruction.
Yeah.
Hence the name the Chained God.
Yeah.
Forever removed from existence, forever removed from connection with any of the connection of the cosmic wheel, although he's so powerful it still seeps through. You can't find where is Tharizdun. There is no location given for Tharizdun anywhere in the universe, in any canon.
Yeah. Canonically, he is the reason that the Abyss exists at all. Like that's what his whole thing was that he planted the seed of evil in what was it, the prismatical sea or something like that, the astral sea. Yeah, he planted the seed of evil in the astral sea, and it fucking the Abyss grew out of it so that all of these demons could be born, because basically primordial demons fucking like took control of him and were like, do this thing.
Yeah. That's where it gets interesting, because that's why it's important to say certain sources.
Yeah.
Certain sources. Now, for example, Planescape doesn't touch on why the Abyss was there. You know, if you follow Planescape lore in regards to fiends, the Yugoloth are it. They're it. The Yugoloth, back then they were called daemons. We call them Yugoloths now. If you could look at chaotic evil as joyful torment of evil for the joy of being a dick, you could look at lawful evil as we're going to be structured and rigid and organized in the execution of evil for the gain of power. Neutral evil is I want to be evil in the quickest, most efficient way possible. Fuck their contracts, fuck their stupidity. Let's just be evil. If we got to lie today, cool. If we got to make a deal later, cool. Whatever we got to do to get it done is what we get it done. So the Yugoloths separated their own kind that had chaotic bends and sent them to the Abyss, where they became the demons. Tharizdun created the Abyss. All of these borderline neutral evil creatures that were exposed to that energy and that pure, utter nihilism are the source of demons.
Yeah.
All of the devils, the Yugoloth that became devils, get kicked over to Bator, are exposed to the lawful nature of the Great Serpent, aka Asmodeus, aka, and I can't remember his canonical name. So their evil becomes even more and more structured and rigid and oriented. So now the blood war is being waged by the Yugoloths, contrary to everyone else's thinking, so they can figure out which of these two lesser beings of evil will wipe out the other ones so we can bring the winner in and take over the rest of the multiverse. If you read about the Yugoloth lore, most of the time they're always talked about as the mercenaries of the blood war, the disloyal. They always tip the scales at the end of it to keep it rolling as long as possible until they decide it's time to end it. If you follow, hey, Sapichu, hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining, Jim Josh. You handsome idiot beards. Awesome.
Thank you.
So, but yeah, so the Yugoloths in that lore are letting it continue rolling until it's like, all right, pull it together. It's time to get it going. So depending on your lore cycle, it can all be changed. But that's the cool thing about Tharizdun and some of these older deities. Jim has the best beard. Josh has the best mustache. Touche.
Fair enough. Don't worry, my beard will grow back
we'll
out.
take that. We'll take that. But so depending on your lore cycle, but it does reinforce the whole Tharizdun creating that and making an utter chaotic, pure destruction, and that reinforcing the evil that's in demons today. Interesting.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm super interested in yeah, because like once I started looking into his lore, I was like, this guy is awesome. like he's such a cool, like interesting god.
Honestly, I kind of think he was designed to be the Cthulhu.
Yes.
By Gygax and Company, the Great Beyond, where we talk about the Beyond Unknown. That should have, I think, if you follow things to its dynamic, logical conclusion, ignoring the big ass gaps, Tharizdun could, for all intent and purposes, be an outer realm god who intruded into this cosmic circle, and that's why everything in united to him. So it supports Tharizdun's existence to an extent, because Mind Flayers have a deity that lives in the Great Wheel. Beholders have a deity that lives within the Great Wheel. All of what we call aberrational species that are supposed to be from the far realm have deities that are placed within the cosmic wheel in Planescape. Interesting. That was meant to be space. Now hear me out. Vecna's balls.
What?
Oh shit.
No.
So Peachy's talking about Vecna body parts.
No. What?
There are way more than just the hand and the eye. I'm sure we'll end up talking Vecna over the course of our stream. I have access to my files. The Vecna Lives by Dave Zeb Cook that pulled Vecna out of the domain of dread and dropped him into Sigil actually has 14 possible body parts for Vecna that your party can graft onto themselves. Not his balls. Makes sense. You got every other. You can get Vecna's left thigh patch.
It helps that one leg run faster.
All I know is that's just the closing scene of Young Frankenstein.
Yes.
Well, the monster got your mind. What did you get? Ooh, shit! I peeked really hard there.
No, that shit.
That was Horrible movie, funny movie.
But no, I was actually going to say that like as far as Tharsdoon, like it is very interesting because like he technically doesn't physically exist.
Mm-mm.
They say that when people, if people could view him, he is just a swirling mass of like darkness and tendrils. Like that's all it is. It's
Yeah.
just blackness, and like the only way that he can communicate is like through shrieks and wails, and nobody understands his language. Like so like he doesn't really exist in any feasible way, really, which is
Now,
wild.
actually, like I said, there is one published module where your party can directly interact with Tharizdun. It was designed as a follow-up to Lost Caverns of Sothkanth. In old school ways, because Gary Gygax was a great game designer but a shit writer, a lot of it is implied and put on in our hands to try to figure out how to make it work. But if you're provided your party makes it to the bottom of the temple, they will find the big black nothingness obelisk. And if they do certain things, they can release it into the world. So the design of the module was a campaign ender. If you
Messed
guys
up.
don't sacrifice yourselves to rebind this entity, you can run, but the world is going to decay. So it was bye to your characters because you just unleashed an evil. The only thing you can do is sacrifice yourself right fucking now to rebind it.
Ooh, that's messed up.
Yeah,
I love that
we don't
shit.
play for real like that anymore.
That's
Hell no.
man.
Most people, we spent 2 years in our campaign to get to this point just to have to sacrifice our characters to save the world. Isn't that what a hero is supposed to
That's what I
do?
was about to say. Yeah, you go down as badasses.
You know?
Congratulations, you saved the entire fucking world.
No, you can save the entire of its
That's
existence.
true. Yeah,
If Tharizdun gets out, it's the end of everything. It is entropy.
yeah, that's true.
It is death, decay, confusion, and madness, and the end of existence. So it's not even that you're saving you're saving your world, but in the grand scheme, when wearing Vecna's balls, your charisma stat is 20. No, and all saving throws get a bonus.
But
It
it
has
has
8
to be
charges.
like
You can spend one to cast. Oh god, I can't read that out loud.
no, but it has to be like that movie 43 thing. They have to be on your chin in order for it to count.
No, that's horrifying. That's horrifying. I am rated for adult audiences, thank the Lord. But yes, expend a charge to cast Grease.
Oh no. No.
Hello, Bobicus. Yes, we see you there. Thank you
Oh,
for
hello,
dropping in.
Bobicus.
Yes, I see your chat. Hopefully, you're doing well. Appreciate it. We're just kind of
Or
started talking about
Bobicus.
Tasha a little bit ago. Bobicus, sorry.
Yeah, that's probably
And we've now
Bobicus. Yeah.
dropped over to Tharuzdun, just kind of interacting with Sapichu with their body parts of Vecna additions there, homebrew.
No, we can't do that. Vecna already gets too much play.
Jeez. Well, I'm down for the joke of it. Yeah. Piss off, Vecna. Sorry. Yes, we see that. I'm glad you're here, Bobicus. So yeah, Tharuzdun, big bad. Again, no way to really manifest it or him or them in a gameplay mechanic way that doesn't end your world. If you're looking for a big world ender, that's what you got.
Nothing. Sapichu just came over here and just said balls.
Because he knows we'll read whatever people will put up because we interact with our audience.
No, it's
awesome.
good though.
All right, so give me another name unless you want to keep going on Thursday.
Okay, I was gonna say that the next one we can do.
Shit, we're an hour in already. Almost.
Yeah, 40 minutes. Yeah, not bad. No, I was gonna say the next one we can do is actually gonna be really really fast. But you mentioned the Planescape stuff is coming up, so I think we should go over the Lady of Pain.
Okay.
Because this is gonna be like a big name that's that people are gonna be dealing with here in a little bit. So I think,
all right,
but there's not a lot known about her, so we can get it done real quick.
Well, okay, real quick, you guys, you'll get a stat block for her in 5e because I'm willing to bet
Probably.
Wizards is going to make her the bad guy at their level 17 final adventure. Because I'm hoping they do what I say they're going to do. I really am, but Wizards being Wizards, they get that this is the icon of the setting, and if the players don't get to play with the icon of the setting, then they don't get to enjoy the setting. So I'm willing to bet that they're going to replace the big Orcus with the Lady of Pain at the end.
You.
Huh?
Speech you said, is the Lady of Pain a mommy type, or will she genuinely stab me? She will genuinely stab you.
Oh, it's not the, yeah, she's not a fun
No,
Lady of Pain type thing.
not that
Uh,
kind.
Sigil is called the City of Doors, and it's also called the Cage. Okay, the City of Doors because it can mechanically and potentially, however you want to connect it to every known place in the multiverse as you need to, as you see fit as a dungeon master. Every being in existence that has connection to the multiverse is represented there. It's a great, the great we. It's the freaking, you know, melting pot, the great wheel, the chaos donut of the multiverse. Now it's called the cage because you can fall into it accidentally, but you ain't getting out on purpose. You have to have a key to get through most of the portals if the Lady of Pain decides to let those portals work that day. Now it's called the cage because if you think about it, as far as you're on safari, this is your safe little cage because no power can enter the cage because of the Lady of Pain. So the cage works both ways. You might be trapped within the cage, but it also keeps the fucking shark from biting into you. Think of it as a shark cage as well. And all of the gods and the powers of the outer realms, the demon princes, the archdevils can't come into the cage because of the Lady of Pain. Okay, now Lady of Pain in the day was described as having making character sheets for biblical characters. Oh gosh,
Oh goodness gracious.
we'll save that for next week. We'll have some fun with that, and then obviously you can
Okay.
kick them in. You know we'll laugh about them, but yeah. So anyway, the Lady of Pain has two distinct powers, and they were all that were ever needed. Number one was if the creature could die, she instantly flayed you and you bled yourself out in the middle of the street, and the debuts came up with mops and mopped whatever was left up, and they moved on your day. No saving throw, no damage roll, no nothing. Your skin falls off of you by 1,000 cuts and you fountain out blood until you die. If you were capable of dying, that was your fate.
Which is probably the better one.
When the Lady of Pain decided she was sick of your crap. Okay? If she couldn't, if you were immortal, you got banished to a maze. Or if you felt like as a dungeon master you didn't want to instantly destroy your characters, you banish them to a maze. So she uses planar magic to shift a section of sigil off, becomes a maze, and you get trapped in this maze eternally. Enough food and drink is provided throughout the maze for you to wander the maze forever to keep yourself fed and watered, but you never come out.
Yeah.
It's an extra dimensional prison.
The worst part is that it's also just little enough food and water that you are always hungry and always thirsty.
It's an eternal torment. So you could sit in the corner of your maze and say, "I'm not playing." She doesn't care. You can wander the maze forever and try to find the exit. She don't care. Now, I will take one step back and say there is a built-in MacGuffin for the DM. Deject Lar is a Githzerai map maker who actually has mapped a few of the mazes and has proven that some of them can be entered and exited. So from a gameplay mechanic, and this being, D&D light, I promise you the name Jeklar will show up because this will be your get out of jail free card for any of your players that piss off the Lady of Pain, so you can get them out of the maze so you don't have to blow them up.
Well, see, then that's my thing. Then don't give her a fucking stat block. Make her that big badass, and just have him as your character's backup thing. You can go interact with her. Cool, that's fine. Don't fuck around, because you will find out.
Yeah, and that was the what is it? Uncaged Faces of Sigil book that I keep talking about. If you're gonna play Sigil, if you're gonna play Planescape, you have to read that NPC book. It is such a well written book. But he features in that explicitly because of that. DMs, hint, hint, hint. This is the exception that proves the rule, that there is a way to get out of the mazes. Some guy has actually mapped a couple of the mazes. He's on the most wanted list by the Harmonium. The governors are looking for him. The Mercy Killers are looking for him. The Dabu are looking for him. But you have that mechanism in place through a non-player character to keep your party from getting trapped in mazes.
Could you imagine how much money he would be worth, though, if somebody were to fucking find him and be like, "Look, I need this person out of a maze." Oh, he could charge them out the ass for that map.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So there's
it's also a good way to get rid of your party's wealth, any wealth that they have.
Yeah.
Fork it over.
Well, and I was talking about that in that book, or in that review, excuse me, over on my YouTube. Excuse me. If you're interested in what I'm talking about, check out my YouTube. I did a full hour-long dig into the Uncaged Faces of Sigil. Spent a little bit of time on each of the non-player characters. Kind of, like I said, I am going off topic here, but that is this. The way that book is written is so well because it's not telling you like a textbook. It's giving you life according to these people. Life in the Outer Plane according to Tarholt. What is Tarholt? He's nothing. He's nobody. Your players are never going to run into him ever. But as you read his story, you learn about how trade goes on between the gate towns, the Outer Planes, and Sigil. How all the shit in Sigil gets there. People like Tarholt. So it's a it's a next to nothing thing for your players. But if you're a world builder, it's really good information to know.
Tarhol's the guy that like the CIA people go, not CIA, but like FBI or cops go to. That he's like on the dock. He's like, yeah, I might have seen him.
That's Harris Hatches. Harris Hatches is the Volo.
Oh,
He's the Volothamp Godarm of fucking of Sigil. And like I said, I promise you, if you're going to get into Planescape, you're gonna run into Kylie over and over and over again. She was designed as the nice, sweet, cute point of entry in 2E, and it's going to make the cover over to 5E.
100%.
She's a good, well-built character, very well constructed, great backstory, lots of little tie-ins to try to turn her into something else, or just a Year Zero's that travel MacGuffin, whatever. But yeah, that book is probably the consummate source of non-player characters, storylines, plots, history, personalities. If you want to learn about Planescape. You can go through the three books that Wizard's going to give us. You'll get some stat blocks. You'll get some history. You get some information. You're not going to know how it feels. Uncaged Faces of Sigil is going to give you insight on how it's supposed to feel to live here, how it's supposed to feel to run here, to run this and help you educate it. Yeah. It's like even wealth is discussed. You have the three wealthiest people in all of Sigil are represented in that book. You have Estevan, who is an ogre magi who runs the Interstellar Trade Consortium, or Interplanar Trade Consortium. He is legal corporate wealth manifested in a character. You have Shemeska the Marauder, who's one of the most powerful Arcanoloths in existence. If you think of what is an Arcanoloth, basically a pit fiend, the Yugoloth version of a pit fiend. She represents criminal wealth. Okay. She's got her fingers in everything. She's fucking Al Capone of Sigil, and everyone knows it, and she don't care. That's the kind of power that you deal with. Yeah, it's just like Al Capone. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You're like, nothing, ma'am. And then you have Zadara, the tyrant, not the tyrant, the Titan. A genuine, good old-fashioned. We hear about the Greek Titans that birthed the gods, and the gods threw the Titans out. Planescape follows that storyline. So you have Zadara, who is a Titan, roaming around, comes across a planet on the prime material plane that has been abandoned by its gods. So she becomes, and a Titan has got enough power to do god stuff. So she becomes this world's god, a very active, very rich, very wealthy god. And then all of a sudden, some of that world's gods start diminishing because even though they haven't been there, the believers are still there. So all the believers on that planet, rather than praying to a god or a power that hasn't affected them in 1,000 years, Zadara is walking around doing miracles. They're like, fuck y'all, we're praying to her. So these gods start diminishing, come back to the world to find out what's going on. Zadara books, runs. Dude.
Yeah.
Zadara books with a world's worth of wealth. And she's a representation of why Sigil is called the cage. And the moment she walks out of it, the god's like, oh. So you have someone that has a literal world's worth of wealth in her, one woman with a planet's worth of wealth trapped in the cage. So you have what is it? Ancestral, generational wealth represented.
Yes.
So you have this 3 levels of economy all represented, and you can play with any of them. If you're in Acquisitions Incorporated, dig into Estevan, man. If you're all about thievery and assassins, Zadara's sitting there waiting for you. If you need some rich patron to carry your party around and assign them on missions, not Zadara, excuse me. Zadara will be the rich patron. Shemeska's the mob boss. So your brain, yeah, it's just talking about these characters. It's like big.
I actually started thinking about because we've been talking about warlocks a lot, and I was like, I wonder if a warlock could use her as an actual patron.
A Titan. Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, but there's not really a warlock thing that goes with that.
But well,
not with Titans.
That man. Again, that's the whole the power curve. Um, an Arcanoloth could probably be a patron.
Yeah.
When and this is all I know we've talked about it before. Yeah, man, with a patron, just make sure that is the creature that's a patron capable of casting the spell that you're about to cast. If not, then it shouldn't be your patron.
Yeah.
It's really fucking simple, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
I'm level 20 warlock. Can my level 7 Ifrit patron give me this magic? Nah. Then that's really not your patron, is it?
No, not at all.
You know?
Oh,
It's just math. CR rating, level, spell listing. What's the highest level spell? 4th level. I'll be damned. I can't use this as a patron. Give your character. And I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm trying to say give your character more depth. Make your patron matter, because it mattered enough for you to tie your character's soul to this being. Maybe you should give a couple fucks about what that being was.
yeah, yeah. No, that's completely fair. It's completely fair. But
But anyway, another non-player character. I'm on a roll here.
Okay.
Or do we want to do any more about Lady of Pain? Now, here's the thing. Like I said, we talked about her. There's not a lot to talk about her. Mechanically speaking, she's your safety valve for Sigil. She's the thing that makes sure nothing gets out of hand. She's the thing that makes sure that the city doesn't fall apart, that the whatever goes on doesn't happen, because she has absolute control over what comes in and out of the city, and she has absolute control over removing any being from the city in the snap of a finger. Okay, so she is a power point, a choke point for your players' stupidity, and she's also a safety valve for your players to have a safe place to go when they go over there and stomp through Yinagu's, fucking Null army and have to run.
Yeah. Okay, let's do oh shit, I lost it. I had one in my head and immediately lost it.
If you guys are watching us still, if you want to hear about a non-player character, kick it in there. And I'll be straight up, if I don't know it, I'm not going to try to make shit up. There's on a great day, I might say I remember.
Oh, man.
I know 3% of D&D lore, or I've been exposed to 3% of D&D lore. There's a lot out there I've never seen. So please don't.
I had
don't be like, oh, he's going to talk about it.
Yeah, I had something, and then I started thinking, oh, we can do Vecna real quick. I was like, I had something, and then I started thinking of Volo after Vecna. Is what I started thinking of. That I couldn't think of anything but Volo
first, because Volo is fun, and that way you don't have to me gripe, because I just got done griping.
I was like, yeah, let's do 30 minutes on fucking Vecna real quick.
Shit. Volothamp Good Arm. He's changed races a few times. He's changed appearances a few times.
See, it's weird because
I
don't see
halfling back in the day.
Yeah, I don't see him as a human. In my brain, he's a gnome. I don't know why. He's a gnome in my head.
Yeah. So Volo is a literary device taken life of its own. Okay. The idea behind the Volo's guides was something that we could let our players go by and have fun with, that would educate them about the geographic region that we were playing in without giving them spoilers. That's the whole idea behind it.
I have never considered the fact that Volo's guides actually exist within the world. It has never occurred to me, because they do. Because I've never thought about that. We've interacted with this man, and I've never even thought about that.
So the Volo's Guide to the Sword Coast, Volo's Guide to Baldur's Gate, all of these things that were published late first edition, early second edition, and I think there were 1 or 2 in third. No, there weren't any in third, were there? No, but wherever, there's a scattering of them. If you go to DM's Guild RPG Drive-Thru, or even your favorite Google site, and Volo's Guide 2, it'll bring up a list of like 5 or 6 of them. But yeah, the idea was something that a player could buy at the bookstore, take home and read about, learn about the lore of an area, learn about the geography and all of that, and feel educated without getting spoilers. Now, the funny thing is there was a lot of built-in inconsistencies and incorrect statements. So that's why I think in modern days, we all joke about Volo is an idiot. Volo is an idiot. Volo is an idiot. Because, mechanically, you gave your players incorrect information, so they weren't metagaming, but they could still have information. Yeah. So that's why Volo is an idiot, is because his shit's always wrong. It's kind of supposed to be by design. Yeah. But,
I mean, and as far as like him as a character within the world, the thing is that it's not that he's an idiot. He just embellishes a lot. It makes his stories more interesting, so they sell better. which
I've
is
never
like
seen him
BG3,
higher
where he's like, "Oh yeah,
stat
there was a
loss higher.
dragon, remember?"
Yeah, I've never seen him statted higher than 5th level. Which kind of carries into the whole thing exactly. His stories are based on interviews and conjecture and a little bit of embellishment because he hadn't fought any of this shit.
Yeah.
I know this is a little bit spoilery here. If you play Waterdeep Dragon Heist and you end up with Troll Skull Manor at the end of it as your reward from Volo, is because Volo bought the house because he wanted to do Volo's Guide to the Undead and Spiritual Beings. And he couldn't hang with the couple specters that were there. He's like, "Fuck this, I'm out, man." But I promise you, if I don't want to say I promise you, a fun thing would be for Volo to pop back up 6 months later and interview the characters. And Volo's Guide to Exorcisms in Waterdeep and everything that you guys did, he reprints in this book.
And that he did it too.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
Based on empirical evidence that we discovered at Troll Skull Manor during our processes of excommunication and exorcism, blah 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 blah. Thank you. So that's the kind of thing that you can use him in your game. He's not a combat proficient person. He can be a social hub if you want to.
Well,
He
it
can
costs
be
us so
that
much money.
I'm sorry.
He cost us so much money. Like in the long run, that man cost us so much money.
But so Volo as an active non-player character in your campaign has a lot of potential. The literary devices that are provided are literally there for your players to have and read about this inn and read about the wonderful, the lovely dancers at this fest hall and blah 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 blah. That was the design of the book, to help them live in the world. So if you have access to them, or if you want to help your players out in Sword Coast, obviously the published ones are going to be dated. Anywhere between 150 years and 100 years in the past from where we're at now.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay, who cares, right?
Also,
but is it good?
Let's not mince words for everybody. Fest halls, if you see that written, that's just fancy speak for brothel.
Right. Dance hall is the polite brothel. You're paying for your dance. Fest hall is, it is what it is. So, yeah. If you're like, huh? If you ever looked at the Waterdeep interactive map and went, where are all the brothels? Look for fest halls, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there are.
Waterdeep is a busy city of getting bitty, man.
I'm in the business of getting business.
Lord of mercy. All right, but yeah, Volo, a mechanism, a device for you as a dungeon master to provide non-spoiler information to your parties, to allow your players, to allow them to feel like they're inhabiting the world a little bit more.
Yeah.
Play him like a douche, play him like an idiot, play him however you want to play him, but don't play him in a way that your characters are going to like him, because it's so much more fun to have that unlikable asshole. And they're probably going to kind of dislike him when they first meet him, especially in modern contexts.
Oh man.
I'm
just thinking about I 100% wish that you would have done him coming back to interview his thing, because I could see all of us just being pissed with this dude and him being like, well, it's just like
yep. Oh yeah,
man.
that's using the fragments of stuff to story build. That's homebrewing, but it's not homebrewing. This is using what we know about how Volo works with the situation the players found themselves in to create a deeper hook for 6 months down the line. It's either flavor and we all have fun with it, or I embed another hook with them and say, well, you guys did such a wonderful job with the specters. How do you feel about a lich?
Oh man, I want to show up and it not be a lich at all, or be a fucking Draco lich and just be completely wrong on it. It's just oh, this is way worse.
Yeah. So that's the fun thing with Volo. He can be a lot of fun. But yeah, my recommendation is play him like either an idiot or a know-it-all, but make sure your players are just irritated with them.
Oh man,
they enjoy the interaction. But like, man, fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck him. That's what you want out of your
100%. We could do Vecna, or we can do Mordenkainen and Strahd real quick, since I know Curse of Strahd is probably the most played module of any module right now.
Okay. Mordenkainen is difficult because there's not a lot about him. Historically, lore canonically speaking, there actually is quite a bit about Mordenkainen. So let me rephrase that. If you ever have access to Dave Arneson and Gary Gygaxian notes, Mordenkainen was the primary player character of Gary Gygax while him and Arneson were building Greyhawk and building Blackmore and playing and building the game. Mordenkainen's birthday was probably 76, 77 when they started putting D&D together as chainmail. So this is Gygax's personal dude. This is proof sincere, proof majeure. D&D or DMs out there. I guess it's okay for us to use our favorite player characters as non-player characters moving forward.
Yeah.
You know, Mordenkainen was the founder of the Circle of Eight. The Circle of Eight was a canonized version of the player group that they used as they were doing the adventures. When they were playtesting Castle Greyhawk, when they were playtesting Doomgrinder, when they were playtesting White Plume Mountain, when they were playtesting Temple of Elemental Evil. There's a dude named Robolar. Okay,
I can't imagine running a game for 8 people.
Shit. Well, they're one of the members of the Circle of Eight named Robolar. If you look at the design notes, I think the Goodman Games book has a lot of the design notes in it, and they talked about one of the first play tests that Gygax did was Robolar. One of his friends was like, "Let me take Robolar through. You know, okay, he's the best fighter we have. We'll kill him. You know, he won't make it far." He cleared the entire level solo in 1E.
Damn.
With a level 10 fighter.
What the hell?
Gygax had to rewrite the whole fucking module. So whether it was a player skill or the fact that Robolar was stacked out the tooth, it is. I didn't want to talk about Robolar, but yeah, all of these guys are connected because they were actually player characters. Rigby, Bigby, Autoluke, Tensor, Rary, Robolar, obviously Mordenkainen, 8, Circle of 8. All of these were player characters. We all have spells that are Tensor's floating disc, the logistic fix for everybody. You know, Rary's. It's not called Rary's Scorching Rays anymore. I think it's just called Scorching Ray.
Yeah.
It used to be called the 3-ray triple beam of fire used to be a Rary spell. On and on and on. You know. Keogtum, Leomund, these guys, those were actually Circle of 7 guys, Keogtum and Leomund, by the way. But anyway, so Mordenkainen was the leader of these guys. Mordenkainen, through the publication of D&D, became the policeman, the Elminster. Okay, if you're a Forgotten Realms fan, you know who Elminster is. Elminster was the carbon copy of Mordenkainen for Forgotten Realms. Okay, Mordenkainen is the Gandalf of the 1E Greyhawk world. That's the best way to describe him. He was never someone that the party was ever going to fight. There was only one stat block ever published that of Mordenkainen. Ironically, you have Rigby, Bigby, Mordenkainen, and Autoluke in the, what's it called? Mordenkainen's Magnificent Adventure. It's a published module back for first edition. I have a module review over it on my YouTube as well. And module. But you got to play as a young Mordenkainen in his adventuring days, you know? But that's the only stat block I've seen from him until 5th edition turned him into an idiot at the bottom of the waterfall that couldn't beat Strahd.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Mordenkainen, in his natural element, put his place called the Obsidian Citadel directly on the ley line between the Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun and the Horn of Igwilv, so he would know if either of these things popped up, because he knew instantaneously he was the first and last line of defense that Owerth had if Dickhead started messing around in the Forgotten Temple, or if, God heaven forbid, Igwilv popped back up.
Oh.
And now he can't handle Strahd.
Gygax would be pissed.
I'm pissed for his sake.
I mean, I know, but like, he'd be
I think
so
anyone
mad.
that really knows who Mordenkainen is like, oh, that's some bullshit right there. That's some bullshit right there. That's some that's some bullshit.
No, it absolutely is.
You're supposed to finish Curse of Strahd at level 12. Okay?
Yeah.
Which means your party of level 12s are more capable than Mordenkainen, writer of Mordenkainen's Monsters of the Multiverse. And he's not a Volo. You know?
Yeah. He actually did those things.
big, bad, powerful wizard from back in the day all the way to forward, but he can't handle fucking Strahd.
Yeah. No, that doesn't track.
Now, here's a couple things that I can I'll throw out there. Mordenkainen is astoundingly neutral. like to the point where Rary accused him of being evil because he wouldn't intercede in the Greyhawk Wars despite thousands and thousands and thousands of people dying and fiends walking across the earth and undeads rising up from graveyards across the Flanius, and Mordenkainen keeps the Circle of Eight out because we're supposed to be neutral. We're here to ensure the balance. We're not here to tip the balance. And Rary's like, motherfucker, all of us. He's doing like the Scotty evil in fucking, you know what I'm talking. We can just all we gotta, that's what we gotta do, man. I mean, it's just fucking Ayas. We just boom. I'll do it myself if you want me to. No, we must not. So he's like, fuck this mess, man.
Okay, look, so 4 of us will go on this side, 4 of us will go on that side, and then we're keeping the balance. We're just fine.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Mordenkainen. So, in regards to him being able to affect Strahd, maybe because he's not a good person. And not being good means to affect Strahd is to replace Strahd.
I was going to say, the only justification I could really give would be either A, that, where he just doesn't want to do it, or B, that because of the domain that he's in, his magic doesn't work correctly. That's the only 2 justifications I could really come up with.
2 things. Number 1, I have to go back on my own statement because the party finds him at the bottom of the waterfall after Strahd beat him. So obviously he tried to fight Strahd and lost.
Yeah.
Number 2, he's a wizard. Harry, he's not a druid. He's not a cleric. His shit is through the weave like every other wizard that works in there. So if you're letting your players' wizards work just fine,
that's true.
Why would Mordenkainen suddenly break down? You know, if it was like Rigby the cleric, okay, maybe you got an old Oerthian god who isn't even listed in the OG pantheons of Greyhawk. You probably ain't connecting to him here, bro. But a wizard? Are you letting your level 4 wizard load his spells normally? Are you letting the warlock short rest and get their spell slots? Why would Mordenkainen suddenly not be able to?
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So that's my argument to him being there. I get it. It's fun to run into. It's fun to have that cameo moment.
Yeah.
But not at the expense of a legendary name being that you could be using for so much more in other settings.
It really should just be that he doesn't care enough to go do it. That really should be all it is.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I'm here.
Well, I mean, spoiler, like I said, I'm running Shadows of Barovia tonight. In about 2 hours. Yeah, literally about 2 hours we'll be doing Shadows of Barovia. And Tasha's there with Baba Yaga. I threw out all the other hags and I replaced them with her. And instantaneously it's just like, but that's Tasha. She's as evil as it gets. And if she does him in, she's stuck here like Chuck. And she got a whole multiverse that she's got shit going on in. She don't want to fucking be here. But I put her there to enforce the rules of Ravenloft. Once you're here, you're stuck. It don't matter who you are.
Yeah.
So there is that potential for Mordenkainen being in Ravenloft. But what I don't like is the fact that he lost the fight, because that's not true. That's not fucking Mordenkainen. I could think of a 3-spell combo off of Mordenkainen that a vampire never would have fucking lived through. You know? Any vampire.
Yeah.
Okay, that Mordenkainen would have had access to. So that's my breakdown with his inclusion in the module. You know, if he was there, he was doing research. Don't bother me, boy. I'm busy. When you guys are ready to go, let me know, because I sure could use a lift out of here too. But this isn't my problem. This is my problem. Yeah. That would make sense for him. Do you not see what's going on here? I don't care what's going on here. You know, that should have been Mordenkainen.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen this in 1,000 worlds and 1,000 times. It'll resolve itself. Go get me what I asked you to get me. That should have been Mordenkainen, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. No, I completely agree with you.
Because then you're like, motherfucker don't even care that he's trapped here. He can't be bothered with it. That dude's scary, either insane or scary badass. You know? That's what you want to put in with these name players. You don't want your party going, we say Mordenkainen, high fives. At least not at level 10, man.
Nah. And I know the one time that I've done Curse of Strahd before that we were definitely not playing that at all correctly. But adjusting for doing combat correctly, we would have beaten him in 6 rounds at level 12. Like, yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. So there's no reason that Mordenkainen can't just walk up there and just done. You know?
There's no reason that, you know, like I said with my storyline,
you're just dead.
Shit. Fucking Sunbeam.
Yeah,
Or here's
exactly.
my, for example, with Tasha, she'd just be like, hi, honey, I'm kind of stuck. Could you loan me, like, I don't know, maybe 20 of your Nalfeshi so I could get out of here? Just send them up to that big old hill on the castle on the hill. You could even let one of them stay in charge. Thank you, love you, bye. And she's done. You know?
Yeah.
And Graz are like, fine, fuck, go.
That's messed up.
So to me, true power is true power being able to do it, or being able to make everyone else do it for you.
That's true. A little bit of both,
You
I would
know?
say.
Yeah, especially when So, the big named guys, I guess, shit, we got about still got about a half hour. Good deal. These big names that are popping up. Bigby's up. In case you hadn't heard me talk about it real quick, Bigby was part of the Circle of Eight. Bigby was actually a non-player character that Mordenkainen fought in the dungeons of Castle Greyhawk, and fought with Dave Arness and said, "Man, I really like how you played this character. Let's keep him around." Well, he's supposed to be a non-player character. I'll tell you what, if I use spell charges every day to keep him charmed and execute roleplay well, can I keep Bigby? Sure, why not? So over the course of multiple months of gameplay, Bigby went from a chaotic evil wizard to maybe a chaotic neutral player to now the author of Bigby's Books of Giants. No one even knows who. It's just another name on a book at this point, which kind of sucks because, well, it doesn't. I mean, there's not a lot about Bigby either. He was a non-player character turned in. If you look at some of the Arneson notes, Bigby was mechanically stronger than Mordenkainen.
Interesting.
Stat-wise, spell-wise, equipment-wise, everything-wise, Bigby in a one-on-one fight was designed to beat Mordenkainen. Whether it was the luck of the dice or whether it was because you didn't want to kill your boss's character, Mordenkainen won the fight. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
But, Bigby's one of the three most powerful wizards in Greyhawk, 579 to 598. You got Mordenkainen, you got Bigby, you got Rary. Those are the top three powerful wizards in Greyhawk.
Yeah.
At least according to the lore.
Until one of us rocks up.
We shall see, right?
Nah,
So,
I'm
yeah,
not gonna fucking Bigby. And we'll smack any of us down.
Right?
I'd fight a god before I fought that man.
Well, you got, like I said, once you get you're almost level 8. Y'all finish out this stupid temple. We're level 8. Once we hit level 10, you start dealing with the things that I think you're fair to deal with.
Yeah, that's fair.
Bigby, Bigby's here out of convenience. Mordenkainen shouldn't be wasting his time talking to anyone below level 15.
Yeah.
That's
fair. That's completely fair.
You're incapable of doing anything more than my minions that I can summon are capable of doing. Why would I need you? I can summon a fire elemental Myrmidon to go take out that goblet camp. Why do I need you? And he's not going to talk shit. He's not going to be disrespectful. He's not going to charge me money. He's going to get to go home when he's gone. He's going to be happy with that. Why do I need you? DMs, think that kind of stuff through when you start including your players into stuff. Either that or make sure that you're positioning yourself in a position, positioning that NPC in such a way where it makes sense.
Yeah.
Greetings, level 1 adventurers. I am Mordenkainen, and I entreat you to help me save the realm by going to Cragmaw Castle and killing the goblin. Oh, really? Homie could have cruised by on his magic carpet while he was talking through his sending stone in one hand and fireballed that bitch flying by and never got off of his carpet.
Man.
Fucking
earth to mud the whole thing, just suck the whole thing into the ground, just be done.
Exactly. So the power curve of these named guys, if you're not treating them that way, I really recommend that you do it. Spend an afternoon. It's not even afternoon. Spend 10 minutes on Google. Type in classic D&D, insert name here. There's a lot of really good published modules. And here's the funny thing. They're all old dudes like me that are writing these. So you're going to get like footnotes and citations and what article you can go. So if there's anything that really jumps out at you, it tells you where to go find more information on.
Yeah.
That's why I love the older lore because number one, it's frozen in time. No one is really writing any more about it. No one's putting anything else about it. But they're consistent with their shit because no one, old dudes didn't want to get called out. Hey, I saw what you wrote and you stole that from me. No, 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 no. Here's my citations.
Yeah.
Now with Chat AI and Chat GP, it's all
Oh,
everything is fucking
it's still not
plagiarism.
It's still not very good.
Oh, it's better than some regular writing I've
You
seen by most
you saw
people.
that episode of South Park where they let Chat GPT write the ending of it. It's not good.
Oh, I hear you. It's hilarious. So we got a half hour. Who's next? What else we got?
I mean,
Give me names.
I was gonna say,
Anyone in the audience, give me a name. Otherwise, you're gonna have to listen to me talk shit about Vecna.
I was gonna say, yeah, Vecna is the next one we're gonna have to talk about. Because
Okay.
everybody loves Vecna. I don't, and honestly, I think it's just Stranger Things. Like everybody's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool, but like, yeah. Otherwise, I don't think that anybody would give a fuck about Vecna.
Yeah. So there's your first challenge is to ring up the 114 million viewers, probably 14 million of them that play D&D because of that show that saw that this is what Vecna is supposed to be. How do you true that up to actual 5th edition? For that, what the fuck is a Vecna? We're doing lore here. I got it in my title, so deal with it. Lore.
Yeah, I mean, a lich.
Yeah. Literally, Vecna is a lich, a very powerful lich. Okay, in 1st edition as he was published, not quite as strong as a Sessarak on paper. For the record, paper to paper, stat block to stat block, old Vecna was not as strong as old Sessarak. Okay, if you're curious what I'm talking about, you're full of shit, geezer. Go look at Return to the Tomb of Horrors, where the party goes back in time to deal with a living Sessarak when he's constructing his Tomb of Horror. Look at any stat block you want from Vecna, including Vecna lives when he's almost a god, and a Sessarak will still smoke his ass. So once that's out of the way,
Yeah.
Okay. Vecna is a lich. He's back in the. I guess if you could say Greyhawk is the medieval Europe days. Vecna is right around the Stone Age branch into the Bronze Age.
Yeah.
Okay. But he has harnessed magic at a great level. He becomes a lich, wanting more, wanting more, wanting more. His general costs, cost the bloody, the sword of costs. And this is in reference to Hand of Vecna, Eye of Vecna, all of that, right? Koss is given a sword by Vecna that was enchanted. But what is not canonically stated is who was put in the sword, because there is a being that's within the sword that takes control of Koss's mind and has Koss attack Vecna. That still hasn't been canonized. 2nd edition took a stab at it that Asmodeus was whispering through the sword to make sure Vecna didn't get too powerful and was still dependent on Asmodeus for his power.
Interesting.
That's going into the 2nd edition Guide to Hell, where it talks about the great serpents.
There's no way Vecna was ever close to Asmodeus' power.
That's the pundit. That's the position. Well, make him dependent on Asmodeus moving forward forevermore type of a thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So this is older. Now, keep in mind, we're talking 78, 79 when this is happening. A lot of what we know as D&D hadn't been published, hadn't been anything yet. So we're pulling a thread of a story from a world that hasn't formed around it yet. Okay, fair. So keep that in mind.
Fair.
You know, Asmodeus is Satan at this point in time, straight up. That there's no denying the satanic panic, even though it was overblown, was not off. A lot of biblical representations, then and still now are part of shit. Look at the fall of Zerial and the redemption of Zerial, and
they're just called Celestials now instead of angels.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, so the story of Vecna was with that. Koss beats Vecna down. They don't necessarily win. No one wins. No one loses. They explode. There's body parts left. An eye and a hand, and the sword of Koss are all that's left of these two beings when the Titanic explosion happens. So that became the big MacGuffin. That was it. That's Vecna. Somehow they started adding lore in the back way to make, because everyone loved the idea of putting a mummy hand on and ooh, evil hand, ooh, evil eye. I
mean, everybody loves the movie Idle Hands.
So Vecna Lives, I think, was the first. I'm gonna have to pull my file because there's 3 of them. I apologize.
Oh, it's all good, man.
3 officially published modules for Vecna, first edition, second edition. The second edition one was actually set up to bridge second into third edition. So I think that's where some of the modern importance for Vecna came in, was because of that one super module that changed Sigil up a little bit and moved the timeline forward. So I
Yes.
think if you're a 30-year-old Dungeons and Dragons player, that's where you probably, if you were exposed to it at that point, that's what you were seeing. So Vecna was more important at that point, more powerful at that point than he was prior.
Yeah.
But that's the height of his canonical power as well, where he loses in a fight to Ayaz, has to go to Sigil to bring Ayaz in, so the Lady of Pain beats up on Ayaz, so Vecna can beat up on Ayaz, and that's when the party jumps in on a weakened Vecna and wins it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Spoiler.
yeah. Well, I think that says it. That says it all. You know, is that the fact that Vecna was able to come into Sigil at all?
Oh
You
shit.
know,
Oh, I don't
he's
want
not a
that there.
power.
I just blanked out my whole thing. Vecna Lives is the big one. That's the one that ends Sigil. Um, Vecna Reborn, Die Vecna Die was actually his first
Yes.
published module. And it's interesting. Now, as a module, it's a shit module. It's leaves a lot on your table as a dungeon master to prepare. Great story. See, a lot of people tore up my module review because I said it wasn't a good module. It's like you heard Vecna not good and you pissed your pants. You didn't read a damn, you didn't hear the message. Great story, not a good module because you have to do a lot of heavy lifting to make it work.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about saying I like this because his name is in it. No, good story, but good God, it's a nightmare to try to prepare and run as a DM. That's the one that starts out where your players are the circle of 8.
Oh man.
You gave your player characters each a copy of a character sheet where they get to be the circle of 8, and you kill them in 4 rounds while your players do nothing. Because if you want to see railroaded combat, go look at that module.
I can't believe they would
It
do
gives
that
you
kind of
an
shit. I mean, I
exact
can,
sequence.
but
Sorry.
I was gonna say I can't. I'd said I can't believe they did that shit, and I was like, wait, no, yeah, no, I definitely can. I can't believe they would do that kind of shit.
Well, here's the thing, though. They know you're playing, and that's one thing I do tip my hat. Despite the shitty writing of the module, overall, the presentation of it, they did a good job with the first chapter where you kill your players. Because your players are level 10, 12 characters, which means they should be experienced players, which means every one of them is a rules lawyer. So they gave you a perfectly legal, step-by-step, rule-as-written format to kill 8-player characters, the circle of 8, in 4 rounds of combat while they stood there holding their sheets going, what the fuck just happened? You know? So
Oh man.
so from that point they bring their regular characters back in. Mordenkainen busies himself with getting the clones and getting the simulacrums and getting the resurrections for the Circle of 8 while you guys go off to Tovag Baragu and deal with Vecna himself. The party deals with Vecna pretty easily. And that leads into the second module, which I think was Die Vecna Die. That one's set in Ravenloft, okay? The party never deals with Vecna. They never deal with Kos. You're in the realm of Vecna, the Citadel Cavitus, the big-ass skull that's got the inside of it carved into a city. Really neat place. They see Vecna once or twice. That's really it. Same with Kos. They see Kos once or twice. They're just kind of caught in this intersinine bullshit while Kos and Vecna are doing their machinations. Again, not a great module because although it's really fun in lore, your party's just messengers back and forth. Basically, it's a carry quest across a mountain pass 5 times, and the module's over.
Fetch quest, my favorite.
Yeah. So once again, I was honest on the review on that one. Now I will say that the Vecna Lives is a really good module. There's a lot of good stuff in there for you to run. That's kind of one that I've planned a couple different times into campaigns to run. I like the story. I like the adaptation of it. So that's the lore sources for Vecna. That's it. Those 3 modules and the Dungeon Master Guide's reference to his hand and eye are the foundation for the super god, badass, everyone loves Vecna that we have now.
Did they not put out a new Vecna book not too long ago?
There was a new one not too long ago, the
Okay.
5th edition. So there you go. Very good. Thank you. So up until the most recent 5th edition publication, or I guess more importantly, the inclusion of
Have it.
Vecna as the BBEG in the first season of Critical Role, I think maybe that had something to do with it as well.
I don't even think I have the new Vecna thing. I don't think I would have it.
And I feel bad for my playgroup. This is me apologizing in public to my playgroup. I probably jaded their views and opinion on Vecna over the course of 2 years to listen to me go, why are you wasting your time with that stupid ass? Motherfucker can't even keep his hand on his arm and his eye in his head, and you think he's the greatest thing ever? Seriously?
I,
Have you not heard of Igwilf?
I actually legitimately do not have the Vecna book. That's like
Oh,
one of the
that's
few
hilarious.
books that I do not own.
That's funny as hell.
Oh,
But
goodness. I have
so
the Vecna dossier. I have that.
yeah, in relation to Stranger Things incorporation into your D&D campaign, um, obviously, if you're
That's funny
including
as
Stranger
fuck.
Things at all in your campaign, that means you're not really, going into the fantasy version of it. I'm not going to touch that. I really don't want to touch that. I know that's kind of a popular thing, crossover inside outside reality thing. That's not something I do, so that's not something I'm going to speak on. Vecna as a non-player character within D&D itself, um, you got to figure out what his connection. You always hear, as you read his quotes, the great serpent whispered in my ear. So that already puts him subservient to something else out there.
Yeah.
We already know Tharizdun doesn't communicate with his followers. So he's not dealing with the ultimate source of entropy and death. Vecna by definition is a couple steps down the ladder from any greater gods.
Yeah.
Unless you take the serpent duality and the serpent lore from the 2nd edition and consider the great serpent Asmodeus. So then you have a lich who's being driven by like a puppet as much as any other little possession of a devil. So I still don't see how he's this badass.
No.
Convince me. Talk to me. Show me. I know. I mean, we got a half hour. I would love to. I'm not opposed to learning, guys. Obviously, you could, if you've listened to me talk about how many different editions I dig through for this shit. I'm all about more information. And again, I want to be honest. Especially now that I'm DMing professionally, I've got to be able to make Vecna sound interesting when I don't like him.
I mean,
So help me understand based on my purview, the information I presented, which is all canonical print stuff,
so this is what you do.
how he is as badass as he is.
So this is what you do. You just run a Sesserac and call him Vecna.
I can do that. I can do that. I can do that.
Nobody will ever know the difference.
I can get behind a Sesserac. That's a pretty powerful freaking badass right there. But it's like, so let's look at the big bads. A Sesserac, Lich. Vecna, Lich. Sastam, Lich. Mansoon, Lich.
Yep. What? That's weird. I never even thought about that.
That's good.
What? I mean, I think. Like,
I forgot. Caraptus, Lich.
I was like, I'm like legitimately trying to think of like big bads now, and I'm like, Tiamat's the only one I can think of like immediately.
Dragon,
yeah,
Dragon Goddess.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, worthy bad guy.
Yeah,
Lich. Come on, you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I get you.
El Tavdra, the High Priestess of the Drow, worthy fucking bad girl.
I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is. I think that you can use a lich and still have them come back over and over and over again because of the simulacrum thing. Them having
they're
not simulacrum.
Phylactery.
Yeah, phylactery. Yeah. That thing, yeah, I think that's all it is. That you can just justify them coming back over and over and over again, and that's why they use them.
So easy, lazy bad guys, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, because that way you can just keep. I mean, because back in the day, like when they were doing stuff where it was like, oh, we can bring Vecna back, kind of stuff. Like, oh, he's a lich, so we can bring him back, or a Sesserac, oh, we can bring, Return to Tomb of Horrors, kind of stuff.
Dude, this is gonna sound really snotty and condescending. I went through my Lich phase. Maybe 5th edition is going through their Lich phase.
I mean, maybe.
You know,
I can see it being fun
I
as a
went through
character to
I
build
went through
yourself
my
into a
werewolf and
lich.
vampire phase. I went through my devil and demon phase. You know, I think it's just part of progressing through D&D. And I don't want to say phase like a maturity thing, phase, because there's a lot of information about each of these distinct classes of creatures and monsters. And then you add on top of that how to make them an individual. It's going to be a phase because you're going to spend a good 6
Yeah.
months to a year working through these monsters and incorporating them.
Yep.
So I don't want to make it sound like, oh, I went through my girl band phase. I went through my, no, it wasn't like that. It was phase of development, phase of learning, and phase of play. So, you know, when you're trying to build these, you always got to remember, man, it takes time. We're, you know, 5th edition modern players, we're a Google away from most of what we want. But it's still going to take you some time to read that stuff. It's still going to take you some time to draw the maps, prepare it, and all of that. Much less doing the headcanon to connect all of it to your story. So, you know, maybe that's just where we're at right now.
I mean, maybe.
You know, maybe next production cycle will be dealing with a different kind of bad guy.
Everything's
You
gonna
know,
be dragons.
No, I think everything we're leaning into aberration stuff. Van Richten's guide
no,
are
that's
great
fair.
for making unique. Thank you for dropping in, Soul Free Wolf. Yeah, I am a huge fan of the Van Richtens.
I was actually gonna say Van
I
Richten's
love
a
that
good
book.
one. You could also talk about him if you
I
wanted
love that book. Okay, he's always been a vampire hunter. Honestly, he made his I want to say he made his premiere in the second edition Ravenloft Realms of Terror box set. He was the Elminster / Mordenkainen of that. That was a non-player character that was telling that the stories of the original Ravenloft were told through.
Yeah.
As I hunt through the darkness, I come through another misty barrier, and not do I see woods, but sandy plains across as the sun beats down upon me. So Van Richten was the literary lens that the original box set was written on. If you're familiar, if you're a fan of Van Richten's, it's a culmination and a summary of 3 different box sets that were released for Ravenloft. There's a lot of fucking Ravenloft out there, y'all. You know, and I was really impressed with how well of a job they did in Van Richten's in giving us access to a lot of them. You know, the downside is you need to do the work as a dungeon master. The plus side is it becomes yours once you do the work.
Yeah. There's some really cool stuff in there too. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, dude. Sire 1313 is probably going to become one of my favorite set pieces for one-shot adventures. The ghost train that was got stuck in the Mournlands at the Demon Chasm in Eberron because they had to wait for someone important, and by the important they threw a lot of the civilians off of the train, put the important guy, try to load up. People got left on the dock. The train goes off, gets overtaken by the darkness, and that's it. So Sire 1313 is this ghost train that's trapped in the mists that you have a lot of room to play with as a DM. I mean, what I just told you is the 2-paragraph description of it. That's all the book gives you. That's not a bad thing, man. You got Snowpiercer going on.
Yeah.
You got fucking Murder on the Orient Express going on.
Yeah.
You can run straight bullet train in that bitch if you want to. Love it, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff you could do with it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, Van Richten's is a great source for whether one shots or campaigns. Ikoth, the Chinese-based Dreamland, that's a campaign length one, man. You're not gonna be able to do that one in a one shot or a 3-shot and have fun with it. But yeah, great BBEGs in there. Wonderful source for non-player characters. I like the way it's set up because you don't get stat blocks with any of these guys. No. The domain is listed. It tells you who the head honcho is, who's the dreadlord of this domain, why are they here, what are they doing with it, and then everything else is handed to you.
Yeah.
You know, Van Richten's is a great place to go and start your homebrew career. You know, I want to start homebrewing. I want to build a world. See if you can build a domain of dread first.
Yeah,
see if you can.
Yeah, and like, cause yeah, I ran one of them as a 3-shot, and even doing that, like, I was like, fuck, like this is not enough time to really do this any kind of real justice, like at all, like, because like all of them are like such interesting little ideas where it's just like, oh, you can do so much with any of this stuff.
Dude, the one I mean, the Pied Piper of Farlington was 100% homebrew, 100% homemade.
See, that's cool.
But it was designed as a 3-step dungeon that we took 7 sessions to finish.
Yeah.
And that,
yeah.
And I didn't mind until the last 2 sessions when everyone's like, "Oh my god, are we done with this yet?" that's when you got to wrap it up. You know, if everyone's having fun, who cares if it goes 20 sessions if everyone is engaged and enjoying it?
Yeah.
But you know, if it hits the point where it's like, okay, this is a drag, you might cut it short. But yeah, when you start getting into dark, and it wasn't so much the mechanics of that, just more the idea that it was a simple fucking nursery rhyme fairy tale, the Pied Piper, and I turned into this twisted ass dark domain of dread, man. You
Yeah.
know,
And
you can have a
honestly,
lot of fun with that.
like
Go ahead.
so many like old fairy tales like work so well as domains of dread, like they really do. Like just go get some fucking Grimm's fairy tales and flip through it and just be like, oh man, that's some messed up shit, let's do that.
And honestly, if you have Van Richten's in hand as you do that, you're probably going to find a couple of the
That's true.
domains that like
Are that? Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. No, it's fair. Yeah.
You know, the Mask of the Red Death. If you're an Edgar Allan Poe fan, the Mask of the Red Death is
Yeah,
represented in one of the
it's half
things as
Mask
well.
of the Red Death, half Cinderella. It's
Yeah, it's
really
jacked up.
really interesting. Yeah.
So yeah, Van Richten's is a great source. If you're not wanting to use a bunch of big name, you don't want to use Mordenkainen, you don't want to use Big B, you don't want to use Vecna, you don't want to use a Cesarac. For some unknowable reason, you don't want to use Igwilv. The Van Richten's would be a great source. There's probably 18 non-player character domains of dreadlords. And here's the other wonderful thing, guys. No one says they have to stay in the domain of dread. If you like that dude's
Yeah.
story, you like that bad guy, you pull him out and you plump him down in the middle of freaking
Because like
Crypt Garden Forest, and you're good to go.
because like here's the thing is that like all domains of dread, like those are based off of like actual things happening in that world. Like just that event was so horrible that it got stuck in time forever. So like you could
Mm-hmm.
100% plop that down any fucking where because these things happened.
Yeah, the Sulf is Free Wolf is kicking in. You can make some terrifying demons or devils from that. But possession rules are crazy. Oh, you should have been here for the first part of the stream when I was talking about Igwilv and
Well,
the whole demonic kind of
they could have heard it
Igwilv.
on your side.
Oh, you wouldn't have heard it because he screwed up the
Yeah,
sound.
I'm
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah, I'm
They heard it fine on your side though.
yeah, if you yeah, well, I think they might have got here late. It's okay. But yeah, that's what that's kind of what we were referring to when we first started the stream. We were talking about how do you judge power, who's the most powerful. And we kind of were even joking about doing a what versus,
Yeah, versus
a one-on-one who would win. And I'm always saying, without fail, I'm saying Igwilv in every stance other than fighting a god, because she knows the 12 true names of 12 demon princes or princesses, and she doesn't even have to cast a spell. She's just got to utter a word, and fucking Orcus shows up in front of you.
Oh fuck.
And then next round, she's gonna say Loth, and Loth is gonna show up over there. She ain't casting a spell. She's saying names, and lords of abyssal layers are serving her. That's a bad guy.
No, most definitely, most definitely. But I mean, I was thinking of like lower level people because like the obvious one would be Van Richten versus Strahd, and I think Van Richten would take it easy.
Ooh, it depends on edition. It depends on all of that.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Given according to the Curse of Strahd stat blocks comparatively, if Van Richten had all of his equipment, was at full power, according to that book, he'd still need the player's help to beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Strahd is 2E, no way, 5E, absolutely. You think Van Richten would take Strahd in 5E? Reef? Free Wolf? I mean, that's we're just kind of have that discussion.
Yeah.
I don't. I think that the way that they rewrote Strahd is, I mean, it's almost a standard stat block with a couple extra flourishes in it. I think they disempowered Van Richten in comparison. That's what I'm saying. I'm like I said, I'm always open for discussion, disagreement, learning.
Do they stat
but
block
yeah,
Van Richten?
I think go look it up. 9th level can take him out in 5E, but in 2E Strahd was a god. Yeah, but most bosses were god level back in the day. Very true though. In second edition, with the advent of Ravenloft as a box set, Van Richten, and who's that? Azalian Rex, the lich that served under Van Richten, who was one of the first to be able to walk out and make his own domain. Those guys were borderline deific power. So you are correct in the second edition box set. Yeah, I want to say Azalan Rex, but I feel like I'm saying the wrong name. And then the Godbrain and Blutospur and all of that. Yeah, old Tui was so badass, dude. That's right, it was Azalan. Sorry, that's right, it was Azalan because he actually, if you look at the Van Richtens, it talks about that realm being abandoned and falling back into the shadows of Ravenloft because the Dreadlord was able to leave, which was Azalan the Lich. So how's that for power? If Strahd's still stuck there, but the person he taught in second edition was able to leave, is Strahd that bad? You okay?
Yeah.
They actually don't
Huh?
have a Van Richten stat block.
Yeah, I've got about
currently.
8 minutes on the stream, and I'll get cooking.
Yeah,
Okay.
they currently don't have a stat block for Van Richten. I was looking. Yeah,
Interesting. I thought he was in the Curse of Strahd.
it doesn't list him anywhere. I was looking for it for one. Here, let me
Oh.
let me go to Chris Strahd specifically. We'll see. I know.
Yeah, I thought he was listed in the module itself. Same place where you find Mordenkainen is listed as an Archmage.
I didn't know that his first name was Rudolph. Rudolph Van Richten, which is awful. Van Richten's tower.
What we got? Are you looking? Did you find it? Yeah, he's looking it up right now. Josh is pulling it up.
I'm trying to see if it's there. I see.
I'm being the lazy guy saying, "Show me."
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm not seeing anything though. Treasure.
No worries. No harm, no foul.
Ooh,
but yeah, I don't
know that they had
the way 5e is written. I don't think anyone but the party's supposed to take down Strahd. I mean, they go through that whole thing to put back together. This is spoilers. Apologies. To put back together the skeleton of the silver dragon and bring the 6 revenants to the castle and all that. But a silver dragon couldn't take Strahd. Mordenkainen couldn't take Strahd. Van Richten couldn't take Strahd. Only help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope, players.
Doesn't make any sense to me at all. I don't buy that shit. Man, I did not realize that.
That's marketing, man. Accessibility versus playability.
I didn't realize that they had Van Richten's like cart depicted in this book.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool looking at it. Like it's fully graphed out.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Apparently, when I was playing that the first time, me with a passive perception of 21 could not tell that he was in a disguise.
Well. You know.
Yeah.
So, who do you think would win between Vecna and Assessorak?
Oh, Assessorak, most definitely. I think almost definitely.
Sastam and Assessorak.
I think Assessorak's probably like pretty much the most powerful lich that we have listed out. Honestly, he's pretty up there.
Well, here's yes and no. If you're in the right time in a certain timeline, he's not even a lich; he's a demi-lich, so he couldn't necessarily fight Sastam.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
His abilities wouldn't affect another lich.
Yeah, at that point in time. Yeah, that's fair. I'm thinking about him I just think about the fact, him like, I just think about the the old school thing where he wakes up and immediately kills your strongest player. It's like, that's a badass. Like there's a level 20 campaign. He kills a level 20 character immediately. Yeah,
man. I hear you.
Yeah,
Assessorak is a badass. All right. Who else did we talk about today?
Let's do.
Who'd win between Elminster and Mordenkainen?
I was about to. Oh, right now probably Elminster.
Yeah, Mordenkainen can't even take Strahd. How is he going to handle with Elminster?
Yeah. I was going to say Rigby versus Bigby.
Rigby versus Bigby. Whoever got initiative.
Fair enough.
Whoever won initiative is going to win that fight, man.
No, it's fair. It's fair. Oh goodness. I'm trying to think of something else. Oh, you know who I'm surprised we did not talk about?
Ravengard. I'm kidding.
No, Xanathar. I'm surprised we didn't talk about Xanathar.
Oh, we got a few minutes left.
Yeah, we have about 5 minutes left.
Okay, Xanathar. Beholder. Oh damn. The Xanathar, one of a chain of Xanathars. The version that we have here in 5th edition is a kinder, gentler, more lovable Xanathar. Editions prior were a little bit more on the beholder side of the Xanathar. I think he's the 4th since the publication of
something like
Dungeon of the Mad Mage, Waterdeep in the North, FR1, Waterdeep in the North, codified him as the 2nd beholder. So as he was published, he was the 2nd the first time. So I guess he's up to 6 now? 5 now?
I was going to say 7, but it might be closer to
It may be. It may be. Like I said, when the Xanathar was listed, it said one of many. This is the 2nd recorded version of him in the Undermountain. That was published in 1986, FR1, Waterdeep in the North. So at that point, he was the 2nd of them that they knew of.
Yeah. and there was, and that's only the beholder version of him, because he took that name from a thief.
A crime lord.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who was Xanathar before him. So, yeah.
You out of here?
Yeah.
Come back tonight?
But,
all right, have a good night. Love you. So yeah, Xanathar in the old days was the ruler of Skullport. Still is. But Skullport was a hive of scum and villainy to the nth degree. One of the things that's missing that probably for better, but just for context, one of the biggest driving factors for power, money, and things to do back in 1E, 2E was slavery. Save people from being kidnapped, enslaving rings, all that. Now we don't even mention the word in 5th edition, which, better or worse, I'm not going to argue. But Skullport was like, if anyone got kidnapped in Waterdeep, they ended up in Skullport getting sold off into the slave market or getting turned in for ransom or something down there in 1st edition. So it was a hotbed of activity, as well as at that point, Skullport was your hub if your players wanted to be evil. You guys want to play Waterdeep, you want to be evil, fine, you got to come out of Skullport skulking through the sewers into the streets like every other criminal does. Rather than now where there's no such thing as bad guys. Everyone, I don't care how evil you are, you can live in your house, whatever. So there was a completely different dynamic. So at that point, your players in 1st edition, 2nd edition were dealing with the Xanathar in like a fucking reverence type of a thing. You're kissing his butt. You probably weren't dealing with him directly until who's the boss behind the boss behind the boss type of a thing. Now your party deals with Xanathar like day 2 of dungeon, Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and it's kind of silly kind of a guy. And I don't get me wrong, I love the silly version of Xanathar. I love playing it. I love having the party interact with it because they still know he's a beholder. And if you do it right and you play him as unstable as you can, it's like he could sneeze and decide one of us made him sneeze and turn us into a statue. I don't like him. I'm allergic to you. Zap.
Fucking, I always remember it was
Skullport, the Undercity for another town. Yes, it was connected to Undermountain, which was connected to Waterdeep. Yes, Rewolf.
I always remember one of the D&D stories I've heard is someone was talking about how they went to go see Xanathar during their Waterdeep campaign, and the DM misunderstood the player. He said all I heard was something your fish is dead, right? He said, so immediately Xanathar flipped his shit and just like the whole party.
Roll for initiative.
Yeah,
with disadvantage.
Yeah, just immediately. And he said at the end of combat, the player was like, "No, what I said was I'm your fish's dad."
Yeah. So, but Xanathar played. I know, right? That's nuts. Xanathar played well. Can be a lot of fun for your party to interact with. I don't think he's posed as the existential threat as he used to be. Like I said, I played him kind of a silly, goofy, insane, yet an insane man with a nuclear detonator. You're going to be nice to him.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
That's how I ran. That's how I run Xanathar, because kind or D&D, whatever. But it's more accessible for that big bad guy to be able to deal with little level people, because he runs the sewers, he runs all of that, and he's insane. He doesn't have to make sense for his activities. It's perfectly fine to let your party stand in front of him and make a deal with the Xanathar when you wouldn't do the same thing for Elminster, because dude's insane, bro. You ain't gotta make,
Yeah.
Well, it's like it was always funny because like, well, we could go talk to Xanathar, and half the party's like, we could, but we could do other things instead.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I took a single offensive action.
Nope.
It's because I really portrayed the instability in him.
Yeah. Yeah. You walk into a room and he's got fucking chess pieces made out of people and is being like fed meat from like a dark elf woman. Like it's just like, yeah, he's a creepy bastard and you don't want to fuck with him.
He is a lot of fun though. But yeah, Xanathar's a great non-player character. As far as combat, I mean, he's a beholder with a couple extra magic rings. If you really want to be a dick, put a ring of spell storing on one of those stalks. Maybe you have him have a rod of absorption in the other pocket. It's up to you. Honestly, if I'm being honest, the fight with Xanathar was probably going to be the easiest beholder fight you have because the lair isn't fully militarized.
That's fair. Yeah, he can't really. He's stuck in that room with us.
He can fly up,
yeah,
and fly around to somewhere else. But yeah, his meeting hall isn't necessarily super defensive or militarized, but he's not designed to fight in that room.
Yeah.
That's why I talk a lot with the beholder. DMs, if you can't beat a level 10 party with a beholder, you're not a good DM. Okay, that's shitty to say. You need more practice.
Or your players are just very good, one of the two.
Or the players are good, or they got good rolls, or you're having your beholder fight in an disadvantageous environment.
Yeah.
If you're having a beholder defending its lair, fighting to protect itself, you should easily be able to obliterate a level 10 party. They shouldn't even really, honestly, 3 of them shouldn't even get into the lair based on what I would do with the I-beam powers.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be a fight.
Oh man. I don't want to fight a fucking beholder with like layer actions and shit. That'd be awful. Legendary resistances and stuff.
It's awful. Not about layer actions. It's about them using that disintegration ray.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm talking about on top of all of that is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, their layers are trapped. They should be vertical. They should, dude. Did I show you that diagram of the one with the mirrors?
Yes.
Homie has mirrors positioned in certain places where within range, he doesn't have to have line of sight on the party to do the I-beam into the mirror because he's still seeing the party. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's have a beholder fighting in a fucking ice cavern that everything is reflecting off of.
Ooh.
Why not?
The stat block that I actually had for Xanathar that I was going to have you guys fight in Santathar, his stat block actually allowed me to sprout an eye stalk, a single eye stalk of my choosing from a surface. So like no matter where the fuck I fought you, I could be gone and you're getting an eye stalk beamed to you somewhere.
Now I have to retract and apologize on my one DM statement. If you're following the rules that Wizards set forth for you, yes, you can lose that fight pretty easily because you're rolling randomly to determine what eye stalk fires.
Fair.
So what I have to ask you is if this thing is a super intelligent genius thing that can carve its own layer and do all of this kind of shit, all of a sudden in a fight it can't control itself? No, come on, fam.
That's the nerdy, nervous one that all of them picked on in high school.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
maybe that one. I don't know which eye to use. I have so many to use from. I'll just pick one randomly. No, come on, man. So yeah, if you're rolling the D4 to see which of the 4 eye rays shoot, you are giving your players a very distinct advantage. You're not fighting that creature as intelligently as you want. You're gonna homebrew a world, homebrew that rule out. Yeah. Drop that random, pick the 4 you need, and zap away.
Absolutely.
There's nothing that says you can't disintegrate every round. And if you're invading his lair and trying killing, you should be disintegrating every round. You should be taking telekinesis and picking the most dangerous melee fighter and slinging them 250 feet away.
Absolutely.
Or more importantly, dropping them into that cavern, that big chasm 100 feet off that your beholder has his place next to, so they can take 20 d6 damage and climb back up 300 feet and not be in the fight. Okay, there's a telekinesis one. There's this. Oh, you know what? You got a healer. Let me use my charm ray on that, and you can come heal me for a little bit while your friends are getting their shit together.
Damn.
Okay, and I still got one eye ray to use.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Oh yeah, and fuck all the magic users because you're also having all of your magic dispelled at the same time that you're.
Yep.
100%.
You get in trouble, fly straight up into that shaft above you. turn 90 degrees as your party's using their magic to follow up. All that anti-magic shell drops, all of that shit, they fall down and go splat. Reach lethal with that thing if you plan the layer properly.
Absolutely.
You know?
Oh
Yeah,
man.
beholders. I mean, I should write a book on how to fight with a beholder.
You probably could,
I'm kidding.
honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, that's, again, there's varying degrees of it, but it's no different with a dragon. Like we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. We're kind of getting into overtime here. A blue dragon, players should never, ever, ever see a blue dragon's lair. They shouldn't find it. Motherfucker swims through sand like it's water.
Yeah.
You know? They're going to walk up on a cave and here lies ye blue dragon. Really? Have some respect for your own dragons, DM. Learn about their biology, learn about their environment, and learn how to use that for their thing. And it's not just dragons, it's every creature. Every creature has the potential for you to learn, well, not every, most have the potential for you to learn how to use the environment that they're described in to your advantage. Like Catoblepus. Okay, that thing should be in absolute difficult, waist deep muck yuck terrain when your party finds it. It should be a threat because they can't move away from it fast enough to get out of the eyesight of it. If they try to flank it, it's got a tail, it's got a 15-foot reach, and they're stuck in the muck and muscle with this creature that is, environmental factors are a huge thing. Whether we're talking Strahd, whether we're talking dragon with lair action, or whether we're talking goblins off of a ridge, man, learn how to use the terrain, to your advantage as a dungeon master. That's going to give the combat act. I think a lot of times I know I went off topic. We always do. I think sometimes you get ground down into combat. Hell, I get into ruts on combat sometimes because it just becomes the die rolls because we're not really describing the environment, using the battlefield as part of it. That goes both ways.
I think that a lot of times people get wrapped up in like kind of like the CR kind of thing, like how difficult they imagine a monster should be. Like they're like, oh, like goblins, kobolds, these are like low level monsters. The party should just be able to run through them easily. But it's like no, like the reason that people are afraid of them within towns is because they're more capable than just that. Like if anybody could just pick up a sword and run through a whole horde of goblins, then they would,
Yeah, absolutely. But that's learning your tactics. That's learning how to use the environment for their advantage. Plus side is, if you're a little bit unbalanced, or if your party's having a hard time, you can do the flip side of it. Let your party start on the high ground on that encounter, and the goblins start on the low ground.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, for example, one of the encounters I ran, it went from potentially challenging to absolutely trivial because the guy pulled a ladder out of his bag, climbed up on top of the roof. They were 15 feet up on the roof. All of the enemies were coming in around him on the ground. Turn one, they had height advantage. I had to go through two, because they pulled the ladder up. I had two bridges that I'd go across on the other side to get to them. I put them in a position to get on the roof, and the rest of the combat, I was an absolute disadvantage for. It was a fucking shooting fish in a barrel.
Hell yeah.
I don't think I hit him twice. But party used their brain, used the environment for them. It's there. That's part of it.
That's awesome.
Kobolds are flipping terrible. Sorcerers and trappers, they can be deadly and boost the CR above textbook. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I love kobolds. Like, yeah. Tonight's campaign, I play a kobold. I started reading about them, and I was like, kobolds are fucking awesome, and nobody ever gives them the credit that they deserve.
I schooled y'all really early on kobolds.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They didn't even fight them. And I don't think you guys have fought kobolds ever.
Nope. We haven't.
Because they're afraid of them. They will negotiate any kobold that pops up. It's like, here, you want some shinies? Hey, bro, it's cool. They were at a lumberyard trying.
All because of one item.
They were at a lumberyard. The party was supposed to stop these thefts, and they get in a fight with a couple kobolds, and the rest of them show up. So they start talking. Hey, da 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 da. So the kobold inventor walks up and says peace offering and gives them a jar. Just how they have the grenades. It was full of rot grubs. Party didn't know it. It said, gift for you, be careful. Throw it, that guy, and they leave. So the first time they threw this thing at him, at a knoll captain, rot grubs splatter everywhere. It was horrifying.
It was several sessions later too. Like none of us knew what was in it, like at all. I was expecting acid or something through this thing. Just
I think all of their brains suddenly click through. Like, so you mean if we're walking through one of those tunnels, they can drop one of those on us? Yeah. We're never ever fighting kobolds fucking ever.
100%.
So yeah, using the terrain, using the knowledge of the creature, using their biology, their background, knowing what they, like you said, with the inventors and the trappers, how do they live? They live in layers that are hard to get. They make a bridge that won't support more than 35
Yeah.
pounds. If anything bigger than them walks across the bridge, it collapses. You know,
Yeah.
all the little things like that. They're small and deft creatures. So yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man. You
And
use.
a wild thing is that they'd even be able to sneak up on you because like a lot of people are like, oh, kobolds are like these like ground dwelling kind of cave dwellers, but like kobolds are like very like fastidious about their cleanliness, so they are
Mm,
always clean. Their scales are always like being taken care of, so like you wouldn't
yep.
even be able to smell them. They would sneak the fuck up on you.
Yep, green slime, lurkers, all sorts of good stuff. Yeah,
Oh hell yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I love kobolds, dude. Kobold grenades for the win, man. They've
Yeah.
heard me. It's like, well, if I do this and this and this and this and this, what are y'all gonna do? We're not gonna fight kobolds. The lowest CR monster in the humanoid stat block, my party at level 8 won't fight.
Yeah.
So
No, fuck that
good
noise.
job though. I did a good job.
100%.
But we
I was gonna
are
say we
at
both need to
kind
go
of at the
get
tail
food
end.
before
Yeah,
D&D.
we will be back over on Grizzly 10 Fins channel in about an hour and hour and 15 minutes. Damn, I
Yeah,
gotta get
give or
moving
take,
too.
yeah.
Shadows of Barovia be played live tonight. Our satirical version of Curse of Strahd. I can't play goth emo for that many hours. I have to turn it into something fun, so that's what we'll be doing. But hey, guys, if you over here on my side and over on Josh's side, thank you for joining us, whether you've been here the whole time or a few minutes. Remember, it is September for another 9-10 days.
Yeah.
If you want to support me, Josh, your favorite streamer, whatever, y'all are getting really good
I'll
deals on
take it.
subscriptions, and we're getting the full value. Actually, Twitch/Amazon, the man
The
is
man.
taking the loss on it for once. So, if you wanted to help us out and say, well, the man taking half their money, no, man's giving us all of our money. So now's the time to sub up for that long-term thing.
Hell yeah.
Help your favorite streamer out and stick it to the man at the same time, man. You know.
Fuck the
Make them
police coming
regret giving
straight
us
from the
35%
underground.
off 50% off a 6-month subscription while I get the full value.
Hell yeah.
Make them regret it. But
Hell
hey,
yeah.
guys, YouTube's, Patreons, all that stuff down on my about over on my side. Thank you for joining. If you've enjoyed yourself, follow, subscribe, do all the cool stuff. I'm gonna shut up and let you out your
Yeah.
side.
I mean, you pretty much did it for me too, man. Said all the good stuff. But no,
All the good stuff.
so over on my channel I do gaming mostly. This is a Thursday thing. I do D&D for us on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. It's supposed to be 9 o'clock. It typically winds up being 9:30 Eastern time.
Yeah.
But right now I'm playing through the Kingdom Hearts series. Friday I will 100% be beating Kingdom Hearts 1. I will be moving on to Chain of Memories next week, so that should be fun. We're doing Chain of Memories. Don't worry, nobody's gonna have to watch me play a fucking GBA game. Just come to my channel. I'm just like this. I'm doing it, guys. I'm doing it. Look at that. I beat him.
Awesome. But yeah, I will likely get my gaming streams going again pretty soon as well in the evenings. I've been banging out Baldur's Gate 3 really hard. I'm gonna do a stream on it. I think with the perspective I have as a knowledgeable both lore and DM stuff, it'll be fun to look at it from a D&D point of view. But I wanted to play it and play through it, so you guys weren't watching me do the
What do I do next?
for 10 minutes in between. So now that I've played through it once, it'll be a much smoother, more cinematic playthrough, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I just want to beat it so I can play some other shit, man. I miss my Project Zomboid.
I'm actually the opposite right now, man. I am so hyped to play through Kingdom Hearts. It's been so long since I played through this game series, and I've never actually beaten Chain of Memories, so this is gonna be the first time I've played through it.
I'm 72 hours in on this campaign.
Oh man,
that's a lot.
Let's see,
I've been trying to look at it like a job thing. I'm a content creator. This is an important part of D&D content, lore, and merchandising and publicity.
Yeah.
Like I said, I walked into it saying, "Fuck Baldur's Gate 3. It's just going to make the game hard for everybody." It's like, you know what? That's a bad thing to say, and that's an uneducated thing to say without playing the game. So
also, just sidetrack, kind of in the same vein. Don't bother with Starfield. I played it over the weekend.
I'll try it
hopefully,
next year.
yeah,
I'll try it next year.
maybe they'll yeah. I played for a couple hours. I was like, I don't understand why everybody's in love with this game. Like, I feel like I have done nothing for like 3 hours. But yeah,
Because you get to play with guns that work instead of multi-tools like you have on No Man's Sky. I think if No Man's Sky would give us submachine guns, no one would ever look at Starfield again.
they have an alien invasion thing on No Man's Sky now. You can do
Do
that.
they?
Yeah, man, they got a
Like,
whole
but they got like a whole bunch
yeah,
of good guns.
100%.
Fuck, I need to go back to me some No Man's Sky, yo.
Yeah,
Damn. Another reason
yeah.
I got to finish Baldur's Gate 3 so I can get to play some other shit. Fuck. Oh man, I got Phantom Liberty launching next week.
Oh
Damn,
hell yeah,
son.
yeah. Lots of stuff.
Shit, I got to finish BG3 so we can get some game streaming going back
Yeah,
on there, man.
but
Haven't played any online RPGs, only play id games. I guess I'm too old school to get into it. Um, as I rub my gray ass beard here, you're never too old, man.
yeah.
I mean, I agree. I grew up in PC gaming, Descent, Descent 2, Free Space, StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2. Go with the flow, man. It's it you never try. It never hurts to try. But guess what? Project Zomboid, single player game. Baldur's Gate, single player game. Cyberpunk, single player game. So I'm with you. Yeah, fuck letting other people mess up my time these days. I don't have enough gaming time to let someone else ruin it with their griefing or their
Yeah, that part.
bad play. I like those single player game because I can pause it, go cook for 20 minutes, come back, play a little bit more, pause it, go fold laundry, come back. Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, TTRPGs, my bad. Oh, yeah.
TT, yeah.
IRLs. I thought I saw id, but it was IRL. No, we stream. It's I run face-to-face games over at RPG Dungeons here in town, friendly local game store. A few times a month now. I'm starting to get paid to run, and I like. There is a difference. There's no denying that. But once you get used to online, it's great because you sitting in and it's like, for all y'all know, I ain't got pants on right now, and we play D. I mean, I do, but
I mean, I have pants on, but they're pajama pants.
we all be looking like sportscasters and shit, man. Yeah, exactly. Got our hot chili pepper pants below, but
Yeah.
look at this is business with a duct tape headphone. Hey, if you're sick of my duct tape headphone, go to Patreon, man. That way I can get some new headphones.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I gotta go. I got
Yes,
a
both of
kid
us do.
staring at me, a 17-year-old saying, "I got food now." We got to go get ready for a session. Thank you for joining us. Wolf, it was great seeing you again. Anyone else out there, appreciate you guys dropping in. Love the chats. Love to see everybody. And we will be back soon.
Absolutely.
I am out now. Take care.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Cool. That was fun.